I'm Jay Diff with the No Old Heads, and this is episode 488. This week we had a few different discussions on Jay-Z's Freestyle, Dame Dash's response, Talib Kweli calling out Tiny Desk, and more. Support the show and get our uncut 2-hour episode without ads by becoming a $5 Patreon or YouTube member. Please make sure to click the bell and turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the comments. Peace.
Episode number 488 of the New Old Heads podcast. We are definitely in the building, and we got some things to talk about. Before we do, I got to go ahead and just say hello to some of my friends in the building. DJ J Diff, how are you doing, sir?
Salutations. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. And right next to him is our good friend, Brother to the Night. How are you, sir?
I'm swell. How about you, good brother?
Oh, man, you know, can't fight the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, right next to me is Longevity. How are you?
Doing all right, man.
That's right.
How are you, Jay Moore?
Man, you know, I'm doing well, man. You know, it's the beginning of a new month.
Yeah.
You know, all my bills are paid and starting to get nice outside on a regular basis. So
Yeah.
I'm living swell.
Good. Last 2 weeks have been very heavy.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry.
With Drizzy Drake. Thanks for everybody for sticking with us as we
Calling us some haters.
try to utilize the algorithm as much as possible.
I think we're tired of it just as much as you are, but
Yeah. But we're
have some shit to get out of our chest, though.
But now we're moving along to another thing that's hot in the algorithm. So Jay-Z is defeating Father Time, apparently. So as hip hop crosses into its 5th decade, Jay-Z's commanding stage presence at 56 at the Roots Picnic serves as the ultimate case study for how a veteran MC can navigate aging in a historically youth-driven culture. So there's a quick little video we'll watch here, I think, of him at the Roots Picnic, and then we'll jump into the thing.
Y'all don't want me to think these thoughts that I think. That nut-ass nigga still stuttering. That chatty patty down on his luck again. Quest introducing me to Jaguar. I don't know why I still f*** with him. That lady back on the stuff, she sound like she in love with him. Her kid can't even take their kids. Enough of them. A rapper can't be my eye. I got MAGA Republicans. Them shots came from the very top of the government. Good luck with them. I'm governed by God. You try to break the government. I brain for 40 days. My neck get flooded again. Wrist get flooded again. My net worth went up again. My next update, the Jigga's up. Nigga, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Niggas look up the Hove. I never looked up to them.
So, yeah,
So inspiring.
some capitalist bars for you.
I love it.
So,
I still love it.
so how does Jay-Z's ability to headline a major festival in 2026, with such high energy, reshape our expectations of longevity? Or does it?
I don't think it, well, for me, it doesn't. Because I've seen artists who aren't as big as far as the records sold, as far as the accolades. You know, I've seen Public Enemy still tear down a stage.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I've seen Big Daddy Kane still tear down a stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so someone like Jay-Z, who maybe you don't expect it just because he's been quiet for so long, you know, just because he's been rich for so long, you're not expecting him to have the hunger to want to get on stage and still try to impress people, because he could just really sleepwalk his way through something like this and people would still say it was dope. And I don't think that's what he did here, especially when you watch other parts of the show, you know, especially, and I might be biased just because, you know, of Take That Tuesday and what, you know, what we do is wrong, what that means to,
Sure.
you know, I mean, as much as it means to the city of Philadelphia, it means something to the city of Indianapolis as well. If you've ever been, you know, in that particular circle, you know, so that was something that I was extremely happy to see, even with Beans, you know, who doesn't have the same ability to rap, what he was still able to do on that stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are veterans who can who understand what it is to perform. And honestly, this should make the younger generation who is out there with the backing tracks and doing the putting on the hits version of whatever. Like, what was that Rolling Loud? Did you guys see all that?
Some of it.
Yeah. And I was like, you should be embarrassed to be that kind of, to be young and be a performer and be so bad. You shouldn't be outperformed by a billionaire who's, knocking on 60 years old.
Yeah. It meant something different to them, though.
Yeah, because, you would. This is, Jay-Z comes from an era where we still booed people.
Yeah.
No, we just didn't accept the fact that you were a celebrity or an influencer on stage and just think that was enough.
Yeah, we didn't prop the meme up.
No.
We made fun of the meme.
True indeed. I don't see anything different about this. You know what I mean? It's expected now, especially for anybody to do it at the level that Jay has done it. You know what I mean? When we talk about the pinnacle of success for hip hop, it's probably Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to see him headline a Roots festival, it's not unexpected.
And it's like it's based off the anniversary of Reasonable Doubt too, right?
Yeah, Jay is the Rolling Stone of hip hop, pretty much. You know what I mean? Or the
Beatles or whomever.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So if he puts out dates, people are going to come to that show.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the Roots Picnic is for a certain age demographic, I don't think. Well, no, I take that back, because if Jay was to do a Rolling Loud, it would transform that audience for that weekend or that day.
That's an interesting thought.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I don't think it's as much youth based as it is just style based.
Yeah, yeah. So,
but it is definitely youth based too. But
because remember when we talked about that time when Meth and Red showed up at Summer Jam? No, it was Summer Jam. And
the last, it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, and the thing is, they popped out and the crowd didn't seem like they were into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is that partially a youth-based thing? I think that was part of it. But also, kids aren't used to seeing a good show.
Mm-hmm.
They're used to seeing people up there with a bunch of mics who weren't on the original record, who are up there and they don't know the song.
Yeah, it's a different type of entertainment. It's a different
type of energy. And it's what you're used to. If I'm going to pay money, I came to see a show, and I didn't come to see you up there just kind of half-assing it. Like I said, that's where we should bring booing back. But that's not going to happen because this is a different kind of generation.
Too many feelings to be hurt.
Yeah. It's like, I can't believe, when you see Ice Spice, who looks bored sometimes when she's performing her own songs, and when she forgets the lyrics, she just starts twerking, and then everybody starts cheering. It was like, why would you expect her to get better?
That's the pinnacle of talent today. But I feel like what Jay did in this headlighting the Roots Picnic, I think it was Friday night's show, I think is bigger than hip hop and so hip hop at the same time. And what I mean by bigger than hip hop is Jay's transcended just being hip hop. Obviously, I mean, he's a successful businessman. He's married to Beyonce. Beyonce is very successful as well. He's done a lot of things through, for philanthropy and all of that stuff. And he's showing that at his age, he can still represent hip hop in its entirety, from emceeing, stage presence, and still being at the top of his game, in my personal opinion, because what he did there, I know a lot of people are giving him flack or saying that his bars aren't as polished or aren't as on point as they were at one point in time. This man is 56 years old and is still rapping circles around 99% of people out here. From just those few bars and stanzas that he did up there, and I've seen people break them down. It's just a good moment for hip hop, I think, and it goes into not expecting your the artists that you follow and listen to, not expecting them to be done just because they're at a certain age. And this is big for hip hop because it lets you know that they can do the same thing that rock artists and, jazz artists, everybody else, they tour until they can't anymore. This isn't about being rich or I need the money. This is a love for the game. So what he did definitely shows longevity in hip hop and what it means to be successful and still be able to pop out and do what he did.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch the whole show?
I did, and I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing.
You guys watch the whole show?
No.
I skimmed through it just because it's like I only like watching concerts on the internet, but so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. I'm not.
Yeah,
I watch it if it was live. I'm more apt to watch it. You know what I'm saying? But by the time I caught wind of it, of course, it was a work night for me, so
Right.
I wasn't able to watch it until later. So I kind of just skimmed it.
I watched the whole show. I enjoy that he started with Hovey Baby, which is probably my favorite Jay song.
Electric.
But he went from that right into that freestyle. So it was at the very top of the show. I know this is what y'all want to hear, and this is what y'all waiting for. Let me give y'all. And then he went from that into You Don't Know. You know what I mean? So
Y'all have seen that much.
Yeah, I saw that part.
yeah, so it was like he came in with high energy.
His stage presence, man. I mean, really, when you think of an MC, I know we had this conversation about people and stage presence and shows being boring. If you are a true MC, a master of ceremonies, you don't have to do a whole lot to command attention. As long as you rapping, you're energetic, your band or your DJ or whoever is with you is on point, and you're able to command the crowd, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And you can tell by the energy, like you can tell if somebody's just up there doing it just to be doing it. And you can also tell somebody that's doing it because they have a love for doing it and want to command attention by MCing and being a master of ceremonies.
Shout out to Guru, because Guru is who was DJing for him.
Okay.
But he tried it though. He tried to have one of them Michael Jackson moments where he just stood out there and everybody just, clamoring.
Yeah.
Now from the video that I saw, it did not give Mike aura. Like the crowd wasn't giving that to him. But
Only
again,
Mike could
nobody's
do that.
nobody's gonna get Mike attention.
yeah, but it was still a dope show though. Nonetheless, man, I enjoyed it.
Quick question pivot here. So why is Jay-Z getting a pass for being hypocritical about battle rap culture while using his massive platform to address adversaries from his past?
I don't give him a pass. I don't, because it's like, look, man, some of the things I least enjoy about Jay-Z are his interviews, things he's done as far as sitting down and talking to people. I was like, this ain't it, dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think for him to say, the whole battle rap thing and this, that, and the third is not healthy for the culture, and then to get out there and just get back to literally the culture, because this is what it is, the spirit of competition and answering back when you have been called out. I thought that was great, but I hated the fact that like now the people who are critical of Jay-Z at every turn, they can point back to that interview, which I thought was whack.
Right.
I don't know. I can't remember if we talk about so much stuff here.
We talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
And none of us agreed.
Yeah, and I just thought I thought him saying that I understood kind of where he's coming from, because that's where I will say he sounded old when he in that interview. Especially considering the things he's been through and throwing subliminals and straight shots at people during the course of his career. And for him to get back to this, I'm like, well, I was happy for it, but I was like, well, he's just going to have to deal with the fact that people are going to call him a hypocrite.
I don't think he cares, because I mean,
I know he doesn't care.
On his first album, he talks about how I know I contradicted myself. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it might have been a soul searching within him. He would probably went back and seen that interview and was like, that probably was a lame take. But in the same token, I look at it this way too. As far as him having a lot of people having a lot to say about him and him being in a position to address it, is it different to just address something and know that, like, look, I seen exactly and I heard what y'all was talking about. I'm going to let you know that I seen it, and I'm going to leave it there. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's an MC. That's what we know him first, because he's Jay-Z, the MC, the rapper. So if I don't say anything about this, does it have to be, you know what I'm saying? Is it considered beef just because I addressed it? Or is it considered me sparring with somebody or wanting to continue it going on? Because, I mean, I feel like he has to say something, especially if he decides that he wants to come back outside with some new material. Being a rapper or an MC, I feel like you have to address it.
I think he pretty much, it's not necessarily a contradiction, because I don't think he had an issue with what they said about each other as far as battling. It is
The outcome.
everything that happened after them making the records, you know what I mean? That's what was corny to him, you know what I mean? Like
The spillover.
Yeah. Everybody, the way the fanaticism between both people's crowds, you know what I mean? And you see it starting now with him and Drake, where you have to choose a side.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't, though.
You don't, but that's what.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's the online shit is, you know, you got to choose a side. Either you're going to go with Jay or Drake. You had to go with Kendrick or Drake. You had to go with Cole or Drake or
You
whatever.
had to go with Big or Pac.
Yeah, him or Nas.
We've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the BS behind when it comes to battling, you know what I mean? It's like you have to choose a side. You can't really just, these two people don't like each other. They're making records about each other. And I enjoy both of these records. Nah, you got to pick a side and you got to ride with that person. And if you don't ride with that person, then you full of shit. You know what I mean? And I'm going to listen to the next thing that Drake says. I'm going to listen to the next thing Jay says. I'm going to listen to the next thing Kendrick says. I'm going to listen to all that shit.
Listen to all, yeah. As a fan of hip hop, in general, you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I don't think any of the bars that he said had malice behind them, based on like a beef, so to speak.
So that kind of goes into like what he kind of said in the interview, which was around, you know, he expressed that instead of just being about lyrical sparring, battles often like devolve into trying to tear down people's lives and wrecking relationships. And so from that perspective, there isn't really like a hypocritical nature, because he just really kind of addressed it the end. You know? So it's not like, okay, let's go back and forth with all these people. It's like, nah, he addressed it a little bit and then he just kind of kept it moving.
Yeah. And I think it was fitting, even how he started the freestyle. And it was similar to how, you know, Clips started their album referencing their parents, you know what I'm saying? Let's get the love out of the way first. He did that with the freestyle. Let me talk about my grandmother who's about to turn 100. And I'm about to bar you up. Yeah. And then we gonna get through this, and then we gonna get to the show.
It's just like, here's a recap of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Let's move on from there. Yeah.
I don't really see nothing wrong with it. I don't really see it as, you know what I'm saying, he's inviting beef or just because if somebody has something to say, he's going to keep addressing them, so to speak.
I mean, look at it from this perspective too. Jay-Z went out and did it at the beginning of a concert. It's not even recorded anywhere except for what people captured with their phones. Drake just made 18 songs about addressing this stuff. Like, there's a difference between these two things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, these aren't the same type of things, you know?
Oh, I think there's more in the tuck.
Maybe, but I don't really care. You know, like, if there is, then we'll hear it. If not, then
I hope so, at least.
You know, it's like, you know, I don't know.
I think I'm actually good with what Jay did.
I'm talking about I hope so as far as new music. And
I kind of feel like he's gearing to drop something.
He's going to drop some
from that
new
perspective.
music.
Cool, but I don't need him to have nine songs about Dame Dash.
No, it's not going to be that. It's just going to be new music, and then he's probably going to address these things that he addressed in there in further detail.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen the news cycles. Everybody's been trying to demonize Jay in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, even from somebody calling in on the Epstein files at a time where he wasn't even outside like that. Come on, man. Saying they seen him like in 95, 96 doing some shit with Epstein. We know that's bullshit. We seen the shit with what was that? The Diddy case.
Sure.
With Busby. He addressed all of that. It's like, you can only take so much and act like you didn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just pop out and just be like, no, I ain't gonna talk about none of that. I'm just gonna move on. And
well, you can.
That. I mean,
he is the elder, and if he is, you know, from that perspective, if he is going to give that example, then you can be above it. I think if anybody is going to be above it, he is the person that could potentially thrive on being above it.
That's true.
As opposed to, somebody who does need the clout. Jay don't need the clout.
No, not
so like, I feel like he maybe, he
could.
I don't necessarily think he would just be above it, but in that particular type of way. But
I feel like it's a damn if you do, damn if you don't, because it's like,
it's always
if
worse.
you don't address it, then it's like, well, you must be guilty about something.
Yeah.
On the side note, I was watching the R&B Buddy podcast, and Bobby Valentino was on there, and he has some allegations that he never addressed. But
that hotel situation.
Yeah, he had talked about going to Japan to do some shows or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna go to Japan and I'm gonna go to Bangkok on my personal time.
All right.
Bangkok, Thailand.
Yeah,
that's fitting.
Okay.
And Tank just looked at the camera like
he's
just going to Bangkok and Bangkok.
All right now, see.
So based on the last question here, so and this is related to the Jay-Z and the ageism thing, right? So do mixed reviews highlight the system or the systemic ageism that has historically plagued hip hop culture? And the mixed reviews from this particular Jay Freestyle, because I've seen extremes from both sides.
I have too.
I've seen like people that are just like, this is nothing, and it seems like it's coming from like Drake stands a little bit. Is what
a little bodish.
Yeah, maybe.
I've seen some reputable people say that. As far as reputable, I'm saying like associates or friends that I might have had posted and said they weren't as thrilled about this Jay-Z freestyle as they've been in the past. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with ageism necessarily, but it kind of feels, from what I've kind of seen in the hyper online space, it does kind of feel like there's two different type of approaches, especially when you're criticizing an MC and that fan base is typically fans of people that don't MC. It's like two different types of music, rap music, if you will. They don't get it.
I know.
Yeah.
So that's the ageism piece, like get your old ass out of the way.
And then it boils back down to numbers with them. They only pay attention to numbers. So like I've seen
that's Jay's
somebody.
fault though.
Well, it is. I actually shot a video about that, him saying that and how it kind of...
He started it.
Men lie, women lie.
Numbers don't.
But numbers actually do. But like in this situation, because he went at Drake, obviously, his stands... I'm surprised the Barbs haven't said nothing about Jay-Z, or maybe I just haven't seen it. But
Nicki kind of hurt her base a little bit.
She did. Yeah, you are correct on that. But like Drake's fans are rebutting this situation with Jay only has 4 #1 Billboard songs and they all feature somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So
none of y'all were alive when these dropped.
Come on, man. So Jay is a special individual when it comes to music and culture, because he's somebody that literally shifted the culture and has, contributed to the culture in a positive way. And has moved the culture forward.
Depending on how.
To me, it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
If you are artists that, and this is just as far as the industry goes, if you're an artist that came up in the streaming era, you'll never really understand what it means for an artist that actually had to sell physical copies. You know what I mean? Like the two don't equate. Yeah, you've streamed 50 million times. I sold 3 million hard copies. And these 3 million hard copies, it really shows every time I throw a show.
And this is no shot at Drake necessarily more as fans, but I've seen a lot of his fans say that Drake was a part of the CD era.
No,
Drake was not a part of the CD era.
When So Far Gone came out, it was
after. It was like when it was completely dying.
Yeah.
So
Thank Me Later.
Yeah.
That's really
that's the only CD
Yeah.
of, and by the time it got to
Take Care.
Yeah. Take Care. Those were CD era records. I will.
I'll say this. So like, there were CDs made and people purchased them,
but it was over.
But we were outside of that era.
It was bootleg. It was mixtapes.
Apple Music.
Yeah, streaming was starting.
Pandora, all of that stuff.
They were trying to combat
Piracy.
Piracy. It's
Yeah.
like the CD era was not the CD era like early 2000s.
Yeah, Drake never
And
had an
previous.
album that shit platinum.
Yeah, it's
Like this, Jay is from a time where the day my album drops, the record company is shipping platinum out to all the record stores because we
wanna
know
make-
that it's
yeah.
going to sell.
We
this
want
is
to make
first
sure
album
we
was
have
2008,
enough.
right?
2000 who? Drake?
Yeah, 2008, 2009.
Was that?
9 or 10.
Okay, and that's way after then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, I want to say it's
iTunes
2010.
was a thing. We'll
Probably
just put
was
it like
later,
that.
yeah,
actually.
If you really wanted to say you just like, oh, you fancy, you could just buy that record.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
I could pick and choose what I wanted off of your album.
yeah.
I don't want your I'm going to just buy 3 songs and
I mean,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I mean, I know CDs were still a thing, but they were definitely aging out. This
Yeah.
is as somebody who was releasing CDs at the time.
Yeah, and the thing is, at that point, if I bought your CD, I really must have enjoyed your record. I mean, I
Yeah.
think the last big CD day for me was when Blueprint 3 and Only Built for Cuban Links 2 came out. I remember I bought both those albums the same day.
I actually bought Drake's first album that came out on
I
CD.
did too.
What I can touch on though real quick when we're talking about ageism and comparing it to like newer artists, I think what will tell the test of time is whatever artist that like a younger crowd is listening to and favoring now, if that music still stands the test of time 10, 15, 20 years from now, is it still going to have that same impact? Because it's almost like it's disrespectful to me to see somebody that's very successful in music and the music still moves and it still means something, that you would pin something new up against something old versus staying power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what kind of stands out to me as far as when people want to pit 2 artists together or want to compare an artist that's newer to an artist that's older.
Yeah.
It's like you still have to stick around. Your artist still has to stick around to be able to get to this point that this older artist is already at.
I've seen some comments like, I don't know anybody that put some Jay-Z on. It's like, all right, well, you're kind of showing your age a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's like,
You're just not in those spaces,
yeah,
and that's
it's just
fine.
like that was definitely a thing. And I'm not the biggest Jay-Z fan. So,
You know, but like,
you know,
I'm in, we're 20 years in to Take That Tuesday. There's almost a Jay-Z record that's been played every
night.
every Tuesday for the past 20 years.
Come on, man.
Whether it be his new shit, whether it be something classic, underground feature, like Jay-Z gets run in a lot of spaces, and just because you're not there doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But
Yeah.
it's the same way we're like, look, man, I'm not in the spaces where 42 Doug gets played on a regular basis. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
And they exist here in Indianapolis.
a lot of places exist that 42 Doug is the man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't ever want to discount that either. And and that, because that would put you into the old man category if you act like you don't know who these people are or what their impact is. But at the same time, they're starting their career and their run. Let's see in 20 years if 42 Doug still has that thing.
Man, the telltale sign is going to be the show.
Yeah.
Like in 10 years, 20 years, are people going to care enough to want to come see you perform these songs that you did 10 to 20 years ago?
maybe it depends if that's the metric anymore. Because who knows if the metric is right now, the metric is you don't have to be great at music. You just have to be a character. You just have to be a person. You just have to be somebody.
For now, but again, in 10 to 20 years, is somebody going to want to come pay? Because that song is not going to really be generating money for you like it was.
Maybe not. We don't know, right?
Am I going to want to come see you perform those records?
Yeah.
Yeah, but my godson, it's a big deal when Travis Scott shows up in Fortnite. Like that's not that he goes to concerts, but that means as much to him. So if whatever Fortnite is in 20 years, or if there is a Fortnite or whatever the evolution of Fortnite is, maybe that'll be the gathering place.
Did he pay to see that though? Did he pay to see Travis Scott in Fortnite?
Nah, you just get on Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in 10 to 20 years, are people going to pay to still want to see you?
I think as much as the landscape is changing all the time, I just don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that's going to be the metric in 20 years.
Mhm.
That's my only rebuttal to that. Like,
Just like
it's
the
just
metric,
I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like for people.
just like the metric for physical records sold doesn't mean anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to translate it, but it doesn't mean the same. You know what I mean?
No.
So I don't know. I'm curious about that piece.
Okay.
Or whatever it translates to.
It doesn't mean something to when you talk about metrics as far as the industry goes, but it definitely means something to the artists.
If they consider themselves artists, though, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it matters because that's how they get paid. That's why people are pressing up vinyl now. You know what I mean?
Well,
and selling it.
Some people, I think,
because
it's a
it's
360
merch.
deal.
I think some of these content creators, because to call them artists is really giving them too much credit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just see themselves as marketing tools.
That's what I mean.
Let me just go ahead and get this Happy Meal off the ground. I'll get an earbud deal and maybe a shoe deal. If I can take care of that, then I'm not really worried about the actual music and performing in front of people. I've got my money.
Yeah, because they count those as numbers.
And
Yeah.
if the entire ecosystem is based off virality, which it is right now, the For You algorithm, it's not about retaining anything. It's just about continually striking
When
the
iron's
iron
hot. Yeah.
over and over again, you know. And sure, maybe some things will stick, but we're seeing a lot of artists that are just doing that on a repetitive basis. And so the staying power I don't think the staying power will be the same for most artists, just because that's not the type of ecosystem that artistry seems to be leaning toward. Well, I don't even say artistry. I would just say more so like the industry aspect of it is not leaning towards that anymore.
So it's like the difference between Jay-Z and Ray J.
I would say it's like the difference between from a modern take, it would be the difference between
Because you consistently see Ray J.
a Georgiana versus somebody that's building legacy through their music.
I
Like
think a lot of these artists, they don't care enough.
like a Marlon Craft.
Yeah, they don't care enough to create a legacy musically. They're doing this for the now.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to be popping right now. They could care less what happens later. They're in it to get whatever they can get out of it right now and move on.
Yeah. I'm very curious to that point that you're making. I'm very curious what this will look like in 20 years because I'm fascinated by that, but I don't think it's going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think for the people that are like legitimately artists, I think it will, but we're in this space to where we compare like who the biggest artist is with the most successful, like as a Jay-Z who's actually good and actually cares about his craft and all that stuff. Like, I don't know if that top person is going to be that same type of person in the future.
Well, who would you consider the top person right now?
Like from
I don't know because
that cares about the art.
I don't know because I don't look at it from that perspective. So it's like I kind of reject it in a way. So it like I would say right now, probably from a hip hop perspective, the way who I look at that as is Kendrick has been holding that.
That's
slot,
what I was thinking.
right? And Kendrick fans are not the ones that are arguing against Jay-Z in this particular type of way. It's the other fandom, you know. And so it's like that's that silo, which I don't think. You know, you'll be able to compare Kendrick's legacy with the Jay-Z. You're not going to be able to compare other artists whose primary goal isn't like the art first.
It's moment music.
That's you know, like even Drake kind of balances it a little bit.
I'm glad you said the name because I thought that's who you was talking about.
Well, I feel like his fans, but I feel like he's in between a little bit. But more so, I would say, you know, like a Playboi Carti or Travis Scott even, or you know, there's a handful of art, but yeah, Georgiana, stuff like that. People that reach that type of success, and I know she's smaller in comparison, but like people that reach that particular success, but it's not like I'm gonna make this really great thing and it's going to be the groundwork or in the solid base everything's built upon. The solid base is just the virality aspect, and this is just a thing that they do, and I feel like those are two different starting points.
It's certain people that I can't put in that category though. Like I can't, like you to your examples of Playboi Carti, Travis Scott. Even one of my favorites right now is Don Toliver. That is not necessarily hip hop. That's a whole nother something, man. I don't know. It's like a hybrid of things. It's a hybrid of rap, rock, trance music. It's like something completely different over there.
It's vibes, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to call that, but they just call it rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the only people I could really put in that same space are the Jays, the Coles, the Kendricks,
Tyler, stuff like that. I feel like those comparisons, to your point, I guess, and then I'll kind of wrap it up. But to the point, I feel like that type of comparison of like, what do these legacies look like in the future to compare with Jay-Z's? It has to be an artist that approaches it in a similar type of manner than Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be comparing people that don't approach the craft in the same type of way.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense. And so like maybe you can do that with a Tyler because he cares.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can do that with a Freddie Gibbs, or maybe you can do that with, like a Mick Jenkins or maybe some of the bigger artists like Cole and Kendrick and maybe even Drake.
Yeah, I was about to say, you damn near can't leave Drake out based on
sure,
what he is.
But what I'm saying is like those are different styles. Those are different, and the fan bases are different because they're even gauging the metrics different. So I don't know. I'd be curious what that looks like. You are now listening or watching the New Old Heads podcast. Our official 1-hour episode is released every Saturday at noon Eastern, where we share our exclusive uncut 2-hour episode to our YouTube members and Patreon members early every Wednesday. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie City and Vinyl, Decademics, and Bringing Down the Band. And most importantly, you. You can support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads, where we embrace the new, respect the old, and remain ahead. What do you guys think about Dame Dash's immediate response via Art Dialogue less than 2 days after this concert comes out? What does that say?
There was a check involved. There was a check involved, and that is how Dame is getting paid off of these. It's like Vlad is probably going to be next.
Oskino, he'll talk to Oskino.
Yeah, Oskino too, because he was addressed in there as well. That's who he was talking about. That nut ass nigga still stuttering. Like
Chatty Patty is Dame, so I mean, it just fits.
These people are going to get checks just because Jay addressed them. So now they want to come and get the rebuttal. You know what I mean? Even though they've been saying something, they've been getting these interviews prior to, without Jay saying anything. You know what I mean? So it's just keeping the economy rolling.
The Jay-Z stimulus package.
Yeah, it's stimmy.
It's just keeping the train rolling, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Showing away, Jay is literally still taking care of him.
Yeah.
So like he talked about how he was the cash cow, how he let the cash cow, which was Jay, go essentially.
Yeah.
You're still using Jay in order to make money. So yeah, you're involved with the Jay stimulus package. It only makes sense. But as far as, I don't know how they get support when he responds. I mean, this just feeds into
it's a
the algorithm and the narrative, and people like drama.
Just relevancy, I think.
Yeah, people like to read and, you know what I'm saying, gloss in the relevancy or the drama that's going on. So
I mean, our stuff goes every time we talk about Dame Dash. For some reason, it hits the algorithm the right way, and we get a bunch of people to watch.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, Dame, appreciate the stimulus package that you give us in turn. So
hey, man,
I guess everything rolls downhill. But I mean, this is their only avenue. Well, I wouldn't say their only avenue, but this is one of their main avenues of
it's what people want,
profiting off of the algorithm. So it only makes sense for Dame to sit down 2 days later and talk about Jay's hair and what he thinks about his breath and the style of clothes he wears, when you could have been a part of all of this.
What does this say about Art of Dialogue?
Ambulance chasers.
It says Art of Dialogue is very intelligently opportunistic. Because if you have access to Dame Dash and you're trying to build your brand and you're trying to invite eyeballs to your particular platform, then this is money.
So
every time,
you
know, like Jay-Z having, you know, a slick little line about Dame is the best thing. Because what else are you talking to Dame Dash about? I mean, and like I said, it all rolls downhill because whenever we talk about Dame, whether we're trying to shoot him some bail, which is usually just me, or we're criticizing him about, you know, the things that he said that we just feel are untrue or unfair, our numbers go through the roof for us, you know. So I can only be so, I can't really. I don't have any criticisms for Art of Dialogue for having Dame Dash on speed dial.
I'm gonna tell you what,
Fair.
like how it feels for me though, as a fan of that era of hip hop. You know what I mean? It is very sad to me seeing Dame in these instances. It's like looking at Eddie Kane from that 5 Heartbeats, like Zhang. Yeah,
I think so. That when I asked that question about how does this make Art of Dialogue look, I'm think that's kind of more so what I'm thinking, because it's almost like, you can get Dame in this moment and you can highlight Dame, but it's going to be good for the algorithm. But doesn't this entail kind of make Dame look bad again? So you're kind of, it's almost like that the whole argument that a lot of people have against Vlad a lot of times is that he puts people in situations where
police and shit,
they can talk about themselves a little bit too much, and it's going to make them look, even though it may work for the algorithm and maybe it does work momentarily, it almost feels like maybe this is something you shouldn't do. But then again, to Jay's point, it goes back to us. We're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
So I
it's
don't know.
It's more so. Dame has been somebody that they used to call out cultural vulturism, so to speak. Whatever. We came to the conclusion that we kind of consider him one as well.
Yeah.
But this right here falls in the lap of Art of Dialogue or whatever. Granted, if we had the opportunities to have a conversation with Dame after this happened, I don't think we would pass it up, so to speak. I mean, of course, we would rather talk to Jay from our standpoint, but in the same token, they're feeding what people want to hear, the algorithm, obviously. But this is only proving Jay's point. I mean, he talked about it in the rap battle. Well, not rap battle, but in the freestyle. He talked about Chatty Patty.
Whatever, down on his luck again.
Yeah, he's down on his luck again. He has to go sit down and talk to somebody.
And he immediately did. Somebody has to profit off of that. And Art of Dialogue is just doing what they're supposed to do, I guess, at this point.
It's not being a boss.
It's not, because you wouldn't sat down with the boss to have that conversation.
So with the boss conversation, is it fair to say that Jay-Z is punching down when he has these moments? Or or is it justified?
It's justified. I let you speak on my name for X amount of years. It's been at least 2 to 3 years.
At least.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I've let you just go on here and constantly berate me. And now I just gave you a little shot. That was it. You know what I mean? I didn't even really go into detail about everything I could. My only question is, like, how do you develop a lisp after you get new teeth?
Probably because you got to get used to him being on your gums.
I mean, I
don't have the experience to answer that.
Cameron got new teeth and he's on ESPN.
He had a
got to
lisp at
figure it
first
out
too, though.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Well, maybe like I said, I'm not.
I think that just comes
versed
with
in those things. Like, I'm trying to get a couple new teeth. But I got to get my money up.
Yeah.
So maybe when I get my new teeth, I have to take a couple weeks off so I can get so I can get right.
Yeah, like that interview on the latest interview with Dame, man, he seemed to be high and out of sorts. I don't know what substance he was on, but he did look like he was on some type of substance.
Well, he went from, like, there was a part where it was like, it almost seemed like he was almost going to cry. And then it went from him just, because he goes into straight, like, snapping on Jay and Cam, who he calls Fredo now. Talking about their suits, which I don't know why I thought that was funny, because I'm like, I don't know, Cameron, you gonna be on sports news, you got to wear a suit.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, it seemed unhinged in places to where I'm like, but at the same time, this is good for Art of Dialogue. It still keeps the conversation on Dame Dash, where he's still like, look at me, I'm cooler than everybody. And it's just like, are
cool
you?
Bum.
And I'm, like I said, I can
his bills ain't paid, though.
That's what the interview's for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, to his credit, he still, you can get some wisdom from a bum. You know what I mean? Like, so he still has some stuff to say in there that does make sense.
It does.
But at the same time, it's like, man, like, dang, man, come on, man. You got to do better, bro.
Like, stuff that he touched on, though, there was no substance behind that. I mean, he pretty much is acting like Jay needs to do this performance because he's
broke,
Yeah.
which in turn we all know that Jay is not broke. He's doing something because he can, essentially.
No, he's not broke, but Jay-Z's bills and his bills are probably crazy. Not to say that he's broke, because he's not broke.
There's
but
two billionaires in the same house.
Yes, 2 billionaires in the house.
But that's 2 billionaires in the house with 2 billionaire bills. They are feeding families.
$1 billion is a lot of money.
That's a lot of. Nobody's broken that.
No,
compound.
I'm not saying that.
It's not even a house. It's a compound.
I'm not saying that he's broke. No, there's no validity to that statement. You know what I mean? But like, I need to bring some income in.
They're doing us all a favor.
I can agree with that.
I really no.
Especially with his wife just coming off tour.
Yeah, there's no reason that they need. None of them are sitting at the dinner table and saying, "I need you to get up off your ass and do something."
That would be wild to hear Beyonce say.
We both got $1 billion. We both can sit the down and ain't got to do shit else. You mean to tell me if I made $1 billion, I'm worth $1 billion, and you're looking at me like I ain't shit when I have more money than 95% of the world?
99.
Yeah.
You can make if you have $10,000 and you made $10,000 a day, it would take 274 years to reach $1 billion. It
doesn't add up.
It's just
no.
Like, I don't care how many cars you have, and
No.
like, well, you got to pay the car insurance. I was like, yeah, I get that, but you know, I remember because there was a situation where Jay took out a mortgage on his house,
and they was talking about,
talking about, oh, he must be going broke, and then there was actual people who understand finances who broke down exactly why you do something like that for taxes, and it's
y'all's favorite president does it a whole lot.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we honestly, I'm having broke conversations. Like I said, I'm just happy that I got when I said, hey man, my bills are paid and I got a few $100s left over.
Yeah,
and you know, I'm thinking I'm up. But compared to what they're doing, like, we can't even relate. So like,
wrong chart, champ. I'm up 10.
I just feel like if you're Dame Dash, you're making the wrong type of stupid argument.
You're doing money arguments with Jay-Z right now. It's not the time.
You should be criticizing him if you wanted to be on the side of
culture,
hip hop and culture. Then you should be criticizing for the fact that he does have as much money and that he is a billionaire, and
that he can hire you and help your situation.
Like that, I feel like that would be a better approach as opposed to try to make this argument that Jay-Z's like somehow poor out here. Like
you know, but it also comes down to,
it makes sense for him though.
Yeah, because that's what keeps him on Art of Dialogue.
Well, yeah, that's the situation that he's in.
I think it would make him look bad. Maybe it's an ego thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta act like I'm not broke and say that Jay-Z's broke.
Well, just because, like, no, the truth is that's probably the position that Dame is in. I have to get on these Art of Dialogue interviews.
No, he's absolutely
and do this
in that
stuff.
position.
Yeah, because I do not have any other way to really bring in some income. Yeah, you got Freeway. He was talking about Freeway and beans. Like, I like fat beans. You know what I mean?
Unhealthy beans.
Yeah.
Beans who was on the desk door. That's who you like better.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
I like Big Freeway. You know what I mean? I didn't like that state property reunion up there. I wanted to see these people. And Freeway come and do an album with me. I guarantee he's probably gonna come and still do something with me. All right, Dame. But what is that going to do for Freeway?
Yeah.
Nothing. He's doing these things off the love of you and what you did for him in his career.
And talk more about Dame. Hey, if you got other stuff going on, please talk about that. Please talk about. I mean, at one point you had an artist out of Indianapolis. What is it, Kitty Red?
Yeah.
It was like, well, bring her up. Talk about that birthday cake song or whatever was popping.
Yeah.
You know,
we all knew where that was going when he signed her in the first place. Though. Yeah.
I know, but damn, you know, I'm one of those people who's like, hey man, if maybe lightning can strike again for Dame and he can get back on.
Just hoping so.
You know,
Dame days is over, man. I mean, I remember it was cool that he showed up at Butter.
At Butter, yeah.
But then Andre 3000 showed up at Butter in LA, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, Dame, yeah.
Dame was first though.
He was first.
He
I
was
give him
first.
that. He was first in a lot. And I, when it comes down to shooting bell, because I'm here with my brother to the night, Byron, he loves talking about shooting bell, and it's kind of spread over to Jay Moore. He likes shooting bell as well.
I don't shoot bell.
Yeah, he don't shoot no bell.
I don't usually either, but I'm going to shoot some bell to Dame Dash for being somebody that actually was instrumental in helping out a lot of careers.
Sure.
He was the first person that put Kevin Hart on. He's the first person that obviously put Jay on. He's the first person that who's the screenwriter? Screenwriter.
Lee Daniels.
Lee Daniels. He's Yeah, they did do it together, but he's instrumental in the growth and you know what I'm saying, conception of Jay-Z.
Yeah, and there's a very few love a lot of times for who does it first.
Yeah. So like, I mean, at one point in time he was great, but you're only good as your last hit. He hasn't had a hit since.
No, he said Jay-Z hasn't had any hits, so like
He's tripping. He's had a lot of hits.
he was like, yeah,
Everybody's
whatever
talking.
that 44, he didn't even say it right. Thing was, you know, but it's like, oh, you mean that, the one that was up for all the Grammys that it lost.
More people are talking about this freestyle than anything Dame's been a part of in the last decade.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, including Dame.
Unless it's about him losing the rights or having to sell his publishing for a reasonable doubt, which he claims he didn't want or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Rachel Roy leaving him, essentially, him beefing with his son.
Oh,
There's a whole
that.
lot of shit that's going on with Dame that's unfavorable to his life.
Yeah.
So he has to speak on somebody that's successful in
Tough
order for
titty.
him to maintain being relevant, essentially. So yeah, it's just sad that it happened, but it is what it is.
I wish Dame the best.
I think, and the thing is, I think we all wish Dame the best.
Yeah.
You know, because we all have, at least I can speak for me, like I said, shooting bail. I have an appreciation for what he's meant to the culture.
Sure.
You know, but I do think at this point, if someone asks you about Jay-Z, just say next question.
Man, talk about something else.
Talk about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
God bless.
If you got art galleries, if you got, if your son got cookies, you know, whatever it is that you got, talk about that, Dame.
I don't know if Dame can afford any of that art shit no more though.
I don't know. I don't know enough
I don't
about
know.
him.
I'm not counting his pockets.
That's
I'm
what I
not
mean.
either, but damn,
Yeah.
it's sad.
Yeah.
Because when you thought of The Rock, you thought of
God
Jay-Z,
bless.
you thought of Dame Dash, you thought of Biggs, obviously State Property, all of them, but yeah, man.
Shout out to Oskino. He'll be on DJ Vlad in a couple days.
I think he was on
I don't
something
know
already,
that exactly, but hey, I know how these things work.
Yeah.
And he'll be on there and to
He
address.
made a video about something.
Yeah, so he'll, you know, like once again, Jay-Z feeding the streets.
Conway the Machine freestyled over the Free beat.
Which free beat?
Drake. The Drake Free or whatever the title of the song was.
I don't know.
You know what the song it is. The one that just came out.
Yeah.
The one that everybody
Denise-
actually likes.
Denise
I
Free.
just want
Oh,
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
free.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Anyway, Conway freestyled over that beat, and he had some things to get off his chest. I thought I had it on my phone, but it's gone now. Breaking down some of the bars.
All right, so this is the Conway the Machine, where you said he's addressing Griselda. It's the acapella.
Flicking through pages of Wallow's newest literature, dreaming of being free over a bottle with a prisoner. Fans stopped me in traffic to get my signature. I remember when all of this shit was just a wish for us. I did a lot of reflecting when I spent last summer in Greece, thinking if it wasn't for Griselda, what would I be? Or maybe what would Griselda be if it wasn't for me? I used to want the rap glory, now all I want is my peace. Dinner with Hov, he told Dog, give your brother a piece. I seen it in his eyes right then, he don't want me to eat. Don't even get the credit for the work that I done on the beats, not to mention the money that was clipped and the other deceit. Put smut on my name and shaded me like I'm under a tree. Made people believe that the person who bugging is me. A lot that I could say, but I'm never the one that'll speak. I just want to be free.
Who's he addressing there?
Westside.
What's our gun?
No, really?
So when he was talking about Hove, pretty much he had dinner or sat down and had dinner with.
Sure.
He's, I guess, insinuating that Westside Gunn was there, and when he said that he pretty much should let him eat too, or let your brothers eat too, that Westside kind of looked funny when he brought that up. That's what I got from it.
Interesting.
I guess this Griselda thing is not gonna.
It's been this way for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was saying that maybe my comprehension wasn't there, and I need to listen again, because I thought he was saying that Jay said something about let your brother eat or whatever, and he let him know that Jay didn't want him to eat.
That's what I thought too.
So if you hear him, he's saying it in the sense that it's not just him and Jay there.
Yeah.
So that would insinuate, in my personal opinion, that Westside Gunn is there, and he's seen it in his face. Like, play it back again.
Yeah, let's run this again.
Me, I used to want the rap glory, now all I want is my peace. Dinner with Hov, he told Dog, give your brother a piece. I seen it in his
He's
eyes.
told Dog, give your brother a piece.
I get it.
Okay.
It's right then, he don't want me to eat. Don't even get the credit for the work that I done on the beats. Not
So yeah, when I first heard that, I was thinking he's telling Jay-Z that.
Yeah, but apparently Jay-Z told him, hey, give your brother a piece of it. And I guess Westside was like, shit, nigga, this is mine.
This mine.
Yeah.
to mention the money that was clipped in the other deceit. Put smut on my name and shaded me like I'm under a tree. Made people believe that the person who bugging is me. A lot that I could say, but I'm never the one that'll speak. I just want to be free.
So he wants to be off of Griselda, I guess.
Yeah. He brought up Jay again later in the freestyle too.
Cutter just finished doing 7, he free again. C's walking down 12, he about to be free again. Armai did 2 years, a case that he beat again. Roots picking shit, we mobbing with Jay-Z again. People asking where your homie Chad, I don't see your man. I had to cut ties, he was stealing from me again. Somebody sent the money for a feature from me again. He tucked it in his pocket soon as it hit his greedy hands. Avoiding me and ghost people, can't even be a man. I should've wilded out on the nigga, put feet in hands. But honestly, I'm thankful, homeboy, because I'm free again.
So was that addressing him too?
This is
I don't know.
somebody
I think
else.
might have been somebody else.
Somebody
Probably.
else.
Yeah. But I think he just referenced going to the Roots picnic with Jay or something like that. But yeah,
Interesting.
it's a rap for Griselda.
It's been that
Yeah, I
way
guess it's
though,
been
because
that
I
way.
think
They've had their time.
Yeah,
what's
they
the name? Benny been saying shit too on the sly.
Yeah, because he ride more for Black Soprano than he do Griselda nowadays anyway.
Well,
The game is the game, y'all.
Yeah. I didn't know it was about not necessarily paying your artists, because he was talking about he actually made some of the beats too and never got credit for them. So music business is crazy.
yep.
Man,
would say-
I think like once you trying to get on, man, you willing to do whatever, and then as you come on, you learn the business, and that's just what's happening again here. You see it again, man. It's it's something that you see time and time again. It's not nothing new.
Well, silver lining with Griselda is they had their moment. They did their thing. And,
All three of them stand on their own, really.
yeah, at this point, nobody needs Griselda that's in the Griselda camp, at least the main three. So
This was episode 488 of the No Old Heads podcast. We appreciate you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and Patreon, where you can subscribe and become a $5 member. We appreciate the support, and we will see you in the comments.
And if
Have
you
a great
become a
day.
member, you get no ads.
No
Say that.
ads for your ass.